Well, good evening and welcome once again to the LBJ Grasslands outside of Decatur, Texas. Tonight's exercise is part 2 of the field evaluation of the CyanSky HS6R Headlamp, as well as part 2 of the evaluation of the K3 V2 long throw light that I have mounted left shoulder on my ruck. I had intended to film these as separate exercises, but I'm really jammed up right now. I'm running almost a month behind on review schedule and kind of need to get caught up. And so I thought it might be interesting to have an opportunity to show how various CyanSky lights work together in a practical context. And with that in mind, I've also got the third member of the family, P25 V2 MAO. And so tonight we're going to see how each of these lights not only works individually, but how they work together and complement each other in a practical, realistic exercise. And on that subject, in the next chapter, I will introduce tonight's search and rescue training exercise. Okay, I'm going to try to run through this really quick because it does set the context on what I'm doing tonight and how I'm going to use all of these lights that I introduced in the previous chapter. I've stepped away from the truck, hopefully that you can see Jeep Hill in the background. That's a very prominent plateau here at the Grasslands. A lot of people like to camp out up there. So tonight we're doing what I would call the basic or level 1 Jake and Sam scenario. So a family of 4 was camping up here overnight on Jeep Hill. The parents were working on making dinner earlier in the afternoon. They got into a heated conversation, lost track of time. Their 2 young boys, 11 and 12 years old, Jake and Sam, were off playing in this area. By the time that the parents kind of, got through whatever they were doing, regained their sense of what time it was, called the kids for dinner, they were nowhere to be found. I'm going to skip a lot of the search and rescue details that would be relevant if I was working with a student tonight. Suffice to say that Wise County law enforcement is en route to this position. They're going to go up and down this road. They're going to go into every single campground, do a very thorough search. What I'm going to do is, this is a scenario where, let's say I was out here already, I got called into the search and rescue exercise. So tonight I'm going to look at a lower probability scenario, and that is that these kids are Boy Scouts, heavy into outdoors. The parents describe them as complete firecrackers. So I'm going to investigate the scenario that they went this way, because if you go, see the little break in the trees there? If you go about 50 yards in that direction, you'll hook up with the red trail. So I'm going to go down there and see if I can pick up any sign. Should be really good conditions for tracking. We've had a lot of rain over the last couple of weeks. It has been dry for about 5.5 days. So any type of soft dirt is going to leave good tracks. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be searching for Jake and Sam, and then let's see how well all of these CyanSky lights work together. All right, I just turned the headlamp on. I'm marking start time. I'm currently in medium on the flood or auxiliary, and probably in about 5 minutes I'm going to go into medium mode. That's medium on the main, medium on the auxiliary, and then I'll just let real-time evolving conditions dictate what modes I use from there. I just want to make sure that we track the longevity that we get out of the headlamp tonight. Well, just over 15 minutes. The fork of the red trail is in that direction. I came about 30, 40 yards down this way. I've seen nothing but hoof prints. I want to show you medium real quick. Just kind of looking back out into the woods. So of course what I'm going to do is use the headlamp primarily just for making my way through territory. I'll periodically, when I need to, light up more interim distances with the P25 V2, and of course the K3 V2 is for well down range. All right, I'm going to make it back to the fork and head back out more or less west and see if I can pick up any sign. Okay, right behind me is a muddy area. I found a few depressions that may be consistent with a younger child's print, but then it just kind of all disappeared into the gunk here. I'm looking with the headlamp and the P25 V2 in turbo. Since this is a very floody light, gives me a good chance to just scan up to 40, 50 yards out in the distance and see if I catch anything. So for example, I can get down here at a somewhat lower angle. Is there any sign that anything down there is broken? Like did the kids possibly go down in that direction? And I've got this on a telescoping wire, so that's very handy. Doesn't look like it. What I've seen so far is inconclusive, so I'm going to just keep going in this direction, see if I pick up any corroborating sign. Okay, we're at about 30 minutes here. I just got to kind of this open area. We're on the periphery, if you can see the fence line, of some private property, and I've gone up into high medium mode about a minute ago on the headlamp. I just wanted to do a quick targeted search. One of the problems with this growth is that it's very resilient, and so you can step on it and it'll kind of pop right back up. Sometimes I like to just kind of look around and see if I can whoa, what's that? Let's get the big gun on it. K3 V2. Yeah, there's something out there. I just barely caught it with the headlamp. It looks reddish. Okay, that is not natural. Some sort of rubber object. That looks like a wristband. Okay, this is actually, that's like a kid's wristband. And it shows almost no sign of wear. So this leads me to believe that perhaps the kids did come down here and kind of play in this area. Then as it started getting darker, they lost orientation. If they'd gone back this way, I probably would have found them. So I'm going to see if I continue to pick up sign in this direction. I'm also going to check in with Wise County law enforcement to tell them what I've found. And once I get back on the trail and maybe into the trees, I'll drop back down into medium, but just in case there's more sign, I'm going to stay in high medium for at least another 5 to 10 minutes. So here's a quick view with the K3 V2. Of course, I'm on turbo. Nice thing about having this as a shoulder mounted light is I can do deep scans into these areas, and I'm working completely hands-free. You can probably see just a little bit of the shadow cast from my phone and hands. But again, just like we ran into before, honestly, with the headlamp, I was a little bit lucky to see that, but I'm looking just for anything reflective, any type of sign, scan back over in this area. Okay, there's more or less a 180. That's the direction I came from. All right, well, time to move back on forward. So I've come to a fork. This path leads pretty much close to the fence line. I'm back in medium on the headlamp right now. This is technically the continuation of the red and white trails. Spine is still very sporadic. Again, I think the kids' shoes are muddy. They're not leaving well-defined prints. They're just leaving occasional depressions. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to devote some time to both of these paths. I'm going to go about 100 yards or so down this fork, and if I see absolutely nothing, I'm going to have to backtrack to this point and then proceed in that direction. And I'll do a time check in my next segment. So we're at about 45 minutes, a little after. I went about 150 yards in that direction and absolutely nothing. I'm still in medium on the headlamp right now. There's a lot of particulates in the air tonight. Sometimes when you've got a lot of these very fine particulates blowing around, lower illumination can be a little bit more helpful because higher illumination just means brighter reflections. Now, in case you're wondering, how do I know I went 150 yards? The short answer is pace count and ranger beads. If you're interested in that, see some of the land nav videos I have on the channel. In the meantime, I'm going to pick up the red-white trail here and keep going, see if I pick up any more sign. We are 5 minutes away from the 1 hour mark, and I'm at another fork. Now, this is actually a shortcut that takes you to the road. If you go in this direction, you'll come to a watering area for horses, and those are all marked by windmills. So, you know, I've checked for sign in both areas, and it's inconclusive. So if they just went a little bit beyond this tree clump and there was still daylight, if I was a kid and I saw a windmill, I'd head toward it, especially if I'm worried, I'm lost, disoriented. So honestly, I have to go check that way. Wise County law enforcement is way back north. They just finished a detailed check of the Tawdra campground, which is where honestly I thought the kids would have been found. So I'm on my own to go back and check that watering area. And we are still in medium on the headlamp. I'll check in when I get there. So while I'm at it, I want to do a contrast here. That's my headlamp in medium. Got kind of a wide open area here. I want to bring the P25 V2 in turbo. I kind of scan across that area. Very good for wide angle, but of course not very penetrating. Let me put that away. And then go back to the left shoulder. Very nice to be able to do this hands-free. And that is the K3 V2. That's pretty much how I'm using everything tonight. Headlamp mostly in medium, short burst and high medium. Just make it through territory looking for slight reflections. Eye shine. Wide area illumination is the P25 V2, and downrange targeted illumination is the K3 V2. All right, well, let's go make it to that windmill. And to follow up on that comparison, here's the headlamp in high medium. Definitely the mode you want for more wide open terrain. So we passed through 1 hour, and there's the windmill. That's the watering area I was talking about. I'm in high medium right now. I've searched around this area and it's a bust. And sometimes that happens in search and rescue. You make a plan based on what you know, information you have about the person or persons you're searching for, and sometimes the plan doesn't work. So now we have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. I'm not going to walk all the way back to that fork because the fork leads to the road. The road is right through there. I'm going to take the road back, pick up the red-white, there's a split, and see if I can pick up any sign there. Just over an hour 20 back in medium on the headlamp, and I got the first good news of all night. So that is the direction that fork comes to meet the road this way. We took the fork all the way back there to the windmill in the watering area. So it crosses the road here, and the red-white pick up down here, then eventually they split. Now the good news is I just heard a faint yell off to my left, so I think I know where the kids are. To mark this position for Wise County Sheriff, let me get the K3 V2 off here. Okay, you can see that I put a couple chem lights out to mark this entrance, and as I move forward, I'm going to continue to leave these chem light breadcrumbs in case we need to get other responders to our position fast. Well, a little over an hour and a half, I was in this pretty heavily confined area, then came out into, this almost looks like kind of a bowl, the way the trees are shaped. I've got this big tree here. Thankfully, I have a mile marker right there. Here's my trail. I'm in high medium right now on the headlamp. I just came out of medium, and right there is where I'm hearing the sound. And so for purposes of this scenario, I saw something reflective over there. So I'm going to go over there, verify the situation, then I'll do a time check and then describe what will happen for the rest of the evening. Okay, there's our time update back down into medium. For purposes of this scenario, this is where we found Jake and Sam. They went off, explored, played, got very disoriented, lost, panicked, and then eventually made their way out of here. Just, they saw this clump of grass and trees and just decided to curl up here and try to get warm. One of them has got a pretty bad twisted ankle, and so at this point, like if I was working this scenario with a student, we take care of all the search and rescue considerations, getting additional responders in, so forth. So what I need to do now is that the SAR scenario is over. Now, I do all of these scenarios out here, no map, no compass, no GPS. The good news is we started out pretty cloudy, and a lot of the clouds have moved out. That opens up celestial navigation. I've been pretty much moving on local knowledge and instinct. In any event, there's that tree where we came in, and you can kind of see the outline of the bowl. So I'm just going to go to the tree. I went left into the bowl, That means I have to turn right out, and I'm going to follow my way back to the chem lights, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, we're right at an hour 50. I've made it back to the chem lights. Speaking of local knowledge, I don't have to backtrack the way I came in. I happen to know that if I follow this road, that will take me back to the truck. I will come up to a fork. I need to bear right at the fork, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bear left. There's an area I want to go exploring. I've never been into it, just a few hundred yards, see what's what, and I'll check back in there. So we're at roughly 2:07. I've reached the fork here. I'm in high medium on the headlamp. You can probably see the eye shine out there. Yeah, I've come across some vicious wild animals. We've got some cows out feeding. What I'm going to do is explore for just a little while in this direction, then make my way back, and then the truck is that way. And I'm just going to stay on high medium all the way in. I probably won't be in this direction for more than a couple minutes. So I'll check back in when we get to the truck, and then we'll do a battery check. So I'm back at the truck right now. I just hit a forced step down at just over 2.5. You can see I've got a lantern set up there. So what I'm going to do is get the headlamp turned off, and then we'll do a quick battery check. Yeah, so that forced step down was I had just hit 20%. I probably ran 70% of the time on medium, the remaining 30% on high medium. Medium was great for making my way across territory. High medium definitely required for search, but you saw that that small colored bracelet. I barely discovered that in high medium, and you saw it wasn't that far from the trail. So for general night hiking and so forth, yeah, you're probably there. For me, for wilderness search and rescue, I just need more punch and more longevity. The K3 V2, P25 V2 performed just absolutely stellar. I'd really like to see CyanSky continue their work on the headlamps. Again, I know this is difficult for vendors, but just sort of lay off the top end lumens, and especially when you have these combined modes with spot and flood, give me more punch and give me more longevity. And for wilderness search and rescue, I'll be a happy camper. But until that time and until the next review, as always, thanks very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.